Every civilization was built on the backs of a disposable workforce. But I can only make so many. Shh. Happy birthday. Hello everyone, I just got done seeing Blade Runner 2049 and it was fantastic. One of the best films of the year and such a visual epic spectacle. Of course, it's directed by Denis Villeneuve. He did Arrival, Prisoners, and Sicario. I'm an immense fan of both Sicario and Prisoners. I couldn't wait to see what he did with this film, and I can't wait to see what he does with Dune after seeing Blade Runner 2049. Now, this review is not going to contain any spoilers whatsoever, so I'm going to save that for a later review. This is going to be a non-spoiler review with my thoughts. Now, of course, Blade Runner stars Ryan Gosling as Agent K. Harrison Ford reprises the role of Deckard. Ana de Armas is Joy. Robin Wright is Lieutenant Joshi. Sylvia Hoeks is Love. Jared Leto plays Neander Wallace. And Dave Bautista is Sapper Morton. That's the cast and crew of Blade Runner. It follows Agent K, played by Ryan Gosling. He is the new Blade Runner for the year 2049. And he pretty much does what Harrison Ford did in the first one. He hunts down replicants. Replicants in this universe, or androids, who are replicants of human beings. And it's kind of interesting to see this world again. It was built up in the first Blade Runner. If you've seen the first Blade Runner, you can go into this movie with more appreciation and a deeper love for the whole universe and this sequel. If you haven't seen Blade Runner, you can still follow the film, and I can't guarantee if you're going to fall in love with it, like it, what. It is a visual spectacle, but I don't know if you're going to really appreciate it as much if you haven't seen the first film, or if you're a fan of the first film. Pretty much, go in with an open mind, and after this, you may want to check out the original Blade Runner. But if you have seen the original Blade Runner, there's a lot of callbacks, a lot of exploration to this film. It is a true sequel. Not only does it honor and expand upon everything that was built in Blade Runner, but it also is its own film. So you can watch this by itself without really watching Blade Runner, even though you would understand a lot more of what's going on if you did see the original Blade Runner. But Agent K is a Blade Runner, hunts down replicants, and he embarks on this journey throughout the film. He discovers a terrible secret. It's like one of those things where he discovers a clue, he keeps searching for more clues, and eventually it's this thread to a deep, dark secret that will shake the foundations of society. He ends up trying to find Deckard for help, played by Harrison Ford. And that's all I'm giving away of the story. Jared Leto plays the bad guy. Sylvia Hoeks is also his, henchwoman. She steals the show. Her and Ana de Armas are great in the film, but Sylvia Hoeks is the real villain in this film. Before I go on to what's great about this film, any cons, it does suffer from some pacing issues, and I do wish I saw a bit more from characters. There's certain characters in this that should have had a much larger role. And I just wish I got to see more of them in the film. But pros, the story is very strong. It doesn't set up other franchise films. This is a true isolated sequel. Also, it feels tangible. It feels real, much like the original Blade Runner. The world feels real. And oh my god, it's such a breath of fresh air to see sets, different devices, different vehicles, in a world that feels organic, natural, dark, grim. It doesn't look like a giant green screen got put in front of an actor. No, these are built sets. And the money is on the screen in this film. And it's just a breath of fresh air and just a callback to what makes films so damn unique and special to begin with. It offers escapism. This is probably the best escapism I've had in a long time, where I forgot I was watching a movie. I was transported to another world. And that's a real testament to the director and just the set designer. And the cinematography, yeah, it's been going around in other reviews, but the cinematography should at least be nominated for an Oscar, if not win an Academy Award. The cinematography is breathtaking. As a filmmaker, this film inspires me. As an audience member, it blows me away. Now, is it as great as what everybody's saying? Oh, I want it to be. Certain parts of it are, but there's certain parts that slow the film down, and I just feel like I wasn't fully fulfilled like I thought I was going to be before seeing it. I just wanted a little bit more out of this film, but that doesn't negate that it's a great film, especially in this lackluster year of 2017. It's been a horrible year for films, and it's nice to see one that actually feels like a damn film. It doesn't feel like somebody went to a study group and decided to basically get people's opinions on what makes a film. No, it was very organic, very authentic, and it feels like a true sequel to Blade Runner. Like, they took their time, they had a story to tell, they wanted to tell it, and they told it. Ryan Gosling is great in this. I mean, there's some things that kind of remind me of Drive. I can just imagine him in one of the flying vehicles. Real human being and a real hero. There's a lot of stuff that reminds me of Drive, and he just plays the film noir type of character very well. He has something that's very 1930s, being broody. I don't know, something about him has that presence. Also, there's a lot of mirrors to the original Blade Runner. Not like rip-off or callbacks entirely, more like there's certain things that remind you of the original. But yeah, it's great. It's filled with twists and turns, some predictable, some not so predictable. And it's really great. I really like the film. You could tell that this film, Denis Villeneuve really made this with love. You could tell he was a fan of Blade Runner and made it with love. I haven't seen this much love put into something since Tron Legacy, really. It kind of had that vibe. And who could forget Hans Zimmer's score? The score in this, oh my god, the two composers, fantastic score. And immediately when the Warner Brothers logo comes up, there's like a note chord that hits, and you're hooked. That's the moment you get transported into the world of Blade Runner. And it does explain what happens at the beginning after the events of Blade Runner. So you're caught up whether you've seen the original or haven't seen it. It's a phenomenal film. While it does have pacing issues, I do like the performances, the visuals. I wish Jared Leto was in it more. Jared Leto plays a great villain. Nobody can really beat Rutger Hauer, but it's a solid film in its own right, and I give Blade Runner 2049 an A+ and a 4.5 out of 5. Time will tell if it's a classic, but it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if everyone's going to like it, though. Some people may think it's slow. If you don't have a high attention span, don't like long movies, you may not like this. If you haven't seen the original Blade Runner, you may want to watch it before seeing this, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. So if you want to see it just going in cold, go ahead, and it might make you want to watch the original 1982 film afterwards. If you do, I recommend seeing the final cut. But it's a fantastic film. I just wanted a little bit more out of it, so an A+ and a 4.5 out of 5. It still is a great visual spectacle after everything, and it really makes up with Denis Villeneuve directing it. After seeing Alien Covenant from Ridley Scott, I was kind of worried about this film, but this film stands on its own. And yeah, one of the best films of the year in this 2017 drought, so to speak. It puts faith in films for me, in filmmaking, that, yeah, there can be something that feels like the old films, that's visually intriguing, visually beautiful, something that has substance. And there's a lot of themes in this movie about what does it mean to be human. And also they tie that in with technology, and you can see that everywhere now with computers and how we're attached to iPhones and things like that, and social media. You can kind of see that. So it's nice seeing that. And also Pan Am, Atari, there's certain companies that were around in the 80s that aren't around anymore, and technology that's a little bit analog, so it's kind of cool seeing how that technology progresses. They don't entirely ignore the technology in Blade Runner. It's more like an alternate timeline where you get to see how Blade Runner's technology progressed after 33 years, so it's nice. It's a nice touch. Anyway, that's it for this review. If you haven't seen Blade Runner 2049, I recommend watching the first one, but go ahead and watch it if you want to. If you're into science fiction films, it's been a good decade for science fiction films. It's one of the best films of the decade, one of the best films of the year. Definitely go see it. And feel free to let me know what you think about it. And if you have seen Blade Runner 2049, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. Which one do you like? Do you like both Blade Runners? I kind of like the original Blade Runner still a bit more than 2049, even though 2049 is a pretty damn good film. Anyway, that is it. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. If you want to check out my retro review of Blade Runner, feel free to do so in the link below. And I also have an action reaction of the 1998 film Soldier, which is a sidequel / movie in the same universe, so to speak. It's really on its own. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049 was a visual spectacle. It was an epic. That score is amazing. Anyway, things were much simpler back then, but now I have hope.